Warning: some contents may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm a dark web courier, and this is my story. Well, as you've read the title, my name's Paul, and I own a dark web courier business. It's not big, and I usually don't take in people that I don't know. It's usually the same old customers and almost never new ones. And I take my customers' privacy very seriously. Therefore, I don't know much about them. The reason why I'm writing this is because something happened yesterday and I'm not sure what to do. So this brings me to my story. I'll start this story with the only logical place, the beginning. I've always been curious, and I've been a little introverted since I started school. I'm not sure why, it just happened to be. And due to my introvert nature, I didn't have many friends in school, so I usually just browsed the web. Though, I started to get bored of the regular old clear web. Sure, it did help with a small itch, but when time started to pass, it just didn't do the trick anymore. That's when I learned about Tor. The gateway to the unknown is how I like to see it. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard about the dark web and the stories surrounding them. Some of them are true, but most of them are just bullshit. If you see the dark web as the Walmart of drugs, firearms, and hitman services, you'd be right, but it's much, much more than that. Actually, most of it is pretty basic and regular old forums, talking to people that can type anything they'd like. It's an uncensored part of the clear web. And this is where my story began, with the forums. After you've been on NNTP-chan for a while, you start to learn your way around the block. So for those of you who don't know NNTP-chan, it's a forum of sorts. You can find the answer to basically any question in existence. And this is where I met my first customer. Let's call this guy Jack. So, Jack, he's one of the regulars, and I don't know much about him. All I know is that he too owns a business here on the web. I have no idea what this guy does or anything about it. All I know is that I deliver his packages here in my hometown. I take them, deliver them to their respective addresses, and be on with it. I pick up the packages at random dead drop locations, and I drop them, and I get paid through crypto. I'm getting ahead of myself now, so let's start over. So Jack, I met him on NNTP-chan. He messaged me after a post I made about working in the local area and asked me if I was searching for work. I mean, I was skeptical about him, but what do you expect from me? Anyway, I told him that I did, and the next thing I know, he messaged me a link to a website. This website was weird? No, unusual. This website was all black with an address written in the middle of the screen with a text. The handicapped toilet under the sink. I looked for it quickly before the website got shut down, and the next thing I know is the sound of a message coming from Jack. 1 o'clock, Friday. Don't be late. You'll know where to go when you pick up the package. My first thought was, what the hell have I gotten into? But I didn't need the money. I've had troubles with money, and as a poor student, a little extra cash on the side couldn't hurt. So long story short, I did as asked. And on Friday, I went to the address which I've decided not to include due to the privacy of my customers. Anyway, the address that I went to was an old gas station at the edge of my small town, and just as Jack had said, the package was under the sink in the handicapped toilet. It wasn't that big. It was a small envelope with a wax seal on it, almost exactly like those you can see in movies or in the library. And on my way out, a man grabbed my arm and told me the new address. Go to redacted 33A. Ask for Mr. Williams and tell him that the sun's up today, shining splendidly over the lake. Then he just let go of my arm and walked into the handicapped bathroom. I was a bit stunned at this, but I didn't think much of it. So I did as instructed and biked over to the address given to me from the man in the gas station, and then I knocked on the door. A large man with a long lumberjack-type beard and a face filled with acne scars opened the door. I mean, this man was huge, like probably around 6'4" or maybe 6'5" even. And it took me a while to grasp the man's appearance before I finally said in a trembling and a little awkward voice, I'm looking for Mr. Williams. Is he here possibly? The huge lumberjack-looking guy stared into my soul for what felt like minutes before he turned around and called out for a guy named Joe. Not his real name, but it will do. Joe, there's some punk here to see you, he muttered. And a few seconds later, a slim, fairly average height man came to the door and looked at me. Mr. Williams, I presume, I said, and I was trying to sound confident. The man just nodded at me. The sun's up today, shining splendidly over the lake. I said it with a bit of unease in my voice while holding out the envelope that I had taken from the gas station. The man in front of me, Mr. Williams, looked at me for a few seconds before responding. Surely, it is a splendid day to take a swim. And before I could react, he snatched the envelope and shut the door on me. I must add that I was a bit confused by what just happened. But I learned later how that came, but that's another story for later. I quickly returned to my bike and biked home. When I came home, I saw that I had an unread message on the forum. It was Jack, as I suspected, and the message read as follows. Well done. The payment has been submitted to your past stated crypto address. I will be in touch if you're interested in working some more. And before I could answer, I had a new payment on my crypto vault, and there it was. A payment of 350 euros. Holy shit, I said silently to myself. I know what you're thinking. Only 350 euros? Well, shut up. For me, at this time, it was huge. I was a poor student, so just leave me alone. So, now that we have established my financial supremacy, we can continue. Jokes aside, I was poor and I needed the cash, so let's just leave it like that. I quickly sent a message back to Jack and said, Fuck yeah, man, I'll take everything. Looking back at it now, I kind of regret that statement. For an example, do you understand how freaking hard it is to clean up after some weird liquid that dripped from the pallet the other day? Or that time when I had the police search my whole storage facility due to some suspicious remarks on one of the boxes that I received a few days ago? So I told the officers that they can't search my premises without a warrant and probably cause. So the officers turned around and never came back. And as I have stated before, I take my customers' privacy extremely serious. Now, I don't usually ask what's in the package if it's not something that's in need of special attention. And if so, I don't ask what's in them. Rather, I ask what special care it needs. I try to refrain from knowing too much. Those damn cops aren't going to get anything out of me. Anyway, I continued working for Jack. He's, well, one of the regulars. He always wants something delivered on Fridays each week, never to the same house or block, always in different parts of the town. The only consistent thing is that it's always the same looking envelope, that pale white one with a red wax stamp. I try not to think about it, but I'm certainly curious about what's inside of it. I'll get back to all of you some other day. I have a lot more to tell you about my work, but right now it's Friday and I've got a delivery to make. You guessed it, it's from Jack, as always. But this time, it's not an envelope like before. It's a pearl white box with the writing, "To the man who supplies." I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not sure if I want to. Something is telling me that it's not my business, but I'm a curious one, always has been. Note: this is my first upload, hopefully many more to come. I need advice from you guys. That damn box is eating away at my curiosity. What should I do? I'm tempted to open it, I really am. Yours sincerely, Paul. I'm a dark web courier, and this is my story, part 2. If you haven't heard part 1, I highly suggest you do. A lot has happened since then. Anyway, let me tell you about these past days. It's really driving me insane. I've read all your comments on the last post, and most of you told me not to open it. Something we have to consider though, and I forgot to add the detail, that this package doesn't have an address on it, nor does it have a name. It just says, "To the man that supplies," and nothing else. I'm not sure what I should do with it, but I have it in my storage facility. I'll try to contact Jack and tell him that I need an address, or that I will be throwing this thing out if he doesn't respond in the coming day or so. And today's story is going to be a little longer than the last one. It seems that you enjoy a longer one. So, without further ado, enjoy. I thought that I'd tell you a little bit more about myself. Not that anybody asked, but it will help you understand how I think better if you do know me a little. So, I'm a bit introverted, which you already know, and what you might also know from my general reaction about everything that happened so far. So you might have noticed that I'm a bit paranoid at times. I, however, like not to call it paranoia. I'd rather say that I'm extremely careful. That's a big difference. Something else that you'll need to know is that I think way too much. I like to think that my brain does most of the work, while my emotions stay out of it. But that kind of back speaks to my curiosity. If you want to know what I look like, that I will not disclose to you due to my own safety. With me sharing these stories will make me let's call it, target for some unwanted attention and some friendly visits. I'm not sure what to do really. I've gotten some unwanted speculators outside of my storage facility recently, for the first time in a few months actually. Anyway, I'm not sure what will happen. Now that current events are all set and you're all caught up with that, let me tell you more about my other clients. Let's call the next one Miranda. Miranda, you see, she's one of the bigger customers I have, and she pays a lot. I'm not talking about college money. We're talking about life-changing amounts of money each year. So you guys might think about my storage facility and why I have it if I'm just a courier. Well, sometimes the pickup day and the delivery date don't add up, so I have to keep it for a while. For an extra fee, of course, no freebies here. That the days don't add up rarely happens, but with Miranda, it's probably once a month or so. Her packages vary all the time. Sometimes I'm looking at a small ring-size box, and sometimes I need a whole truck just to fit the damn thing. The strange thing is that the deliveries are never to any houses or people for that matter. I leave them at the same location each time. Now, I don't know what she does for a living, and I get paid enough not to care, so I'm not even going to speculate. But the location, whom I won't put in the name, but I can describe it for you. Or I'll do my best at least. This place where I make all the deliveries is an old abandoned warehouse about 3 hours outside of my town. That probably doesn't tell you a lot, but 2 hours from my town, you haven't even passed a major city. I think the military used to use this old warehouse for storage back during World War II, but again, I'm not really sure. Anyhow, the storage facility is overgrown and huge. I'm talking about a vehicle warehouse size, and it's just empty. Sometimes, I make deliveries multiple times a day for Miranda, but every single time I get back there, no matter how large the package is, it's always empty. I've thought about checking the place out to see who comes and picks the damn things up, but as I've said before, the privacy of my customers is my priority. Furthermore, with Miranda, she's the one that I know the most about for some reason. She asked me for advice a few times about social events and stuff like that. Now, I know I shouldn't give any advice of that sort due to my introvert nature, but hey, coaches don't play, right? Well, back to Miranda. So the things I've noticed is that she must be pretty high up socially. I mean, she's going to fancy parties around the capital and other major cities in my country. She also seems to be an entrepreneur of sorts due to her way around economics when me and her were talking about businesses. Seems kind of weird to me, but again, she pays enough to make me not question it. Alright, it's been about a day since I wrote that last section in this post, and I'm writing this from my desk trying to figure out what to do with this damn thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself again. There's 2 major things that have happened since the last post, and let's start off with Miranda. Now, Miranda, as I said, is the person that I know most about, or so I thought. This probably doesn't make sense to you, but let me tell you that this got me concerned. I got a letter addressed to me, not Paul, which is only the name I use in business, but my actual name addressed to me. Now, how the hell did they know my name? I spat out. Now, this gave me the creeps since I am very serious with being anonymous. I decided to open the letter. Now, this letter was nothing special. I'm not sure how to explain it. It was the most ordinary letter that I have ever seen. It's hard to even explain it. It was the most perfect, non-perfect letter ever, and it was written in the most beautiful cursive that I have ever seen. It said, "To my name, from Miranda." Of course, it didn't say Miranda, but due to privacy, I'm not going to disclose her real name. Now, this got me curious, so I opened it, and all it said was, We need to talk. I can't tell you much over this letter, so meet me at 131, redacted, Street 12, and I'll tell you everything. Miranda. Now, I'll tell you this really piqued my interest. In hindsight, I should have just rubbed this off and dropped Miranda as a client. Yes, I know I shouldn't have gone. And yes, I know it was stupid even at that time of doing it. But can you blame me? Tell me right now that you wouldn't have. So, my curiosity got the better of me. They say that curiosity killed the cat, and I don't believe that's just a saying at this point. So let me get you through what happened. 4:30 a.m. I took one of the clean business cars and started driving. I obviously needed a clean car and some kind of backstory to tell my parents on why I'm driving for a solid day to meet up with someone so. I just simply told them that I had a business meeting down south and had to drive down to meet with a potential supplier. Now this wasn't all false, so it was an easy lie to sell. What can I say? I've become pretty damn good at lying at this point. 7:45 p.m. So, a long day's drive. I just arrived in the city of the meet. I haven't had time to check on my phone or anything, but I'm sure I've missed a lot. I'm going to scout out the place before I'm going in. I don't want to be surprised. 8 p.m. I've just arrived at the building, and it's a newly built house at the coastline. Now, I'm no architect, but it looks damn expensive to build. This house is matte gray with large windows covering one of the house walls and a large garage right next to it, connected to the house with a small flat roof. Now I've scouted this place, I had a pretty decent idea of what the house was and what type of area I was in. So, I went in, anxious like a student before a massive test that you haven't studied for. I knocked at the door. 1 knock. What the hell am I even doing? 2 knocks. Should I just leave and stop the business with her? And just when I was about to knock the 3rd time, a tall, blonde, and pretty good-looking woman opened the door. She eyed me up and down and asked, "Are you Paul?" With a serious face. Yes, I answered weakly. Good, she responded. She then invited me into the house and we sat down on the sofa. Do you know why you're here? She asked while not leaving my gaze. No, it said in the letter that everything would be explained here, I answered with a confused face, and she looked for me a while before saying, So, I'll be sending a package that's very important to me. She stood up and walked to the window, gazing out at the open waters. Can I trust that you'll take care of it? She said bluntly. I thought about it for a moment, but before I could answer, she said, It'll pay good, double the usual, she said and turned around looking at me. I was stunned. Double the normal amount was insanely high, so I got even more curious about what it was. What is it? I asked curiously. Nothing of your business. All you need to know that it's very, very valuable to me, so I need it delivered quickly and safely. Understood? I thought about it for a while before I answered. Understood, I said confidently. She stood quiet for a while before she said, It's good to have someone to trust, and if you do this for me, I owe you one. We just stood silent for a while before she said, I'll be in touch. I will tell you one day before the package arrives at yours. And I nodded and walked back to my car. When I closed the door to my car, I just thought over everything that just happened before I drove home. Not a lot happened after that really, and it was pretty peaceful besides, well, Jack. Now, I told you in the beginning of this post that there were two major events that happened during these days. Well, this was the second. So this is where my anxiety and paranoia kicks in really freaking hard. So you guys remember the package I asked if I should open? Well, I decided not to, so I didn't get an answer from Jack about it. It was just quiet. So I decided to throw it out right before I drove down to meet with Miranda. So, you could have guessed what was waiting for me at the exact same place as I picked up that box. It was a new one that looked the same, exact same tags and everything. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, to the man who supplies. What the hell is that even supposed to mean? I tried to message Jack again asking about the freaking package, and no response again. So my anxiety level was at top, and I didn't want anything to do with this damn package. So I did the exact same thing as last time. I threw it out. Now, what was I supposed to do with it? I mean, it's not addressed to me, is it? Why would it be me? It wouldn't make sense. The man who supplies. What do I supply? I'm just a damn courier. And besides, that who would send me anything, they already pay for the services. That's more than enough for me. Now today, it's Friday, and Friday is supposed to be a pickup from Jack. So I drove down to the gas station and went into the handicapped toilet as I usually did. But under the sink, there was no envelope. It was a note and it read, "Paul, why haven't you opened my gift? I thought you trusted me more than that. Anyway, I'd like you to go talk to the cashier. They have, how should I say it, a special offer for you. We have always been pleased with your quality of work, so we want you to do something for us." I read the note as I stood in the toilet, comprehending what I just read. No, not now, I said to myself. This wouldn't have been a big deal if it wasn't for the job that I was supposed to get from Miranda. I mean, that I needed my whole attention to perform. She did say that it was very valuable for her, so I certainly don't want to lose it. Who knows what she can do to me if it gets lost or damaged? I did not want to take that risk. Anyway, back to the gas station. I followed what the note had said, and I walked up to the cashier and he looked at me with a serious face. "Hey man, what's up?" I said with confidence. The cashier just looked at me and nodded towards the door in the back. So I did as I was told, and I went into the back station. When I entered the back door, I was greeted by two large dudes almost looking like your average bouncer outside of clubs. They were huge. They closed the door behind me as I proceeded to the manager's office. "Thank you for coming," I heard a voice say right before I went into the office. I turned around sharply to look at a short, fat man who seemed to be around his 30s or 40s. He proceeded to usher me into the office, so I assumed this was the manager. He signed me to sit down while he went and poured 2 glasses of whiskey and placed one of the glasses in front of me. "Hello, Paul. My name's Jack," he said while taking a sip of his whiskey. "I got a gift for you, old friend." He proceeded to open a drawer by the desk. I just sat quietly waiting for him to get to the point. I had literally no idea what I should have done, and I honestly don't know even after what was the right choice. Jack continued to take up a box, and I recognized it right when I saw it. "What the hell is that?" I said, quite annoyed to Jack. "It's a gift," he said, and placed the box on the desk on the right of me. I need you for something, he said with a small grin on his face. You're delivering packages by a competitor of mine. I'd like you to do one final delivery for her, he said with a serious face again. It has come to my knowledge that a package is going to arrive at your establishment, he said with a lack of a better word. I'd like you to take it and put it in this box, he said while looking at me. He finished his drink and signed for me to do the same. Can you do that for me? He asked while staring into my soul. Now, I don't know what to answer to this. I'm sure that if I didn't agree, I wouldn't come out of this damn place alive. So I did what any sensible person would do. Yes, for the right price, I said with a smirk. Jack looked at me for a solid minute with not even a blink before he spoke again. 1 million, he said, looking at me. Holy shit, I thought to myself, trying not to show my excitement. Now, that was a lot of money, I'll tell you. It was far more than what Miranda had offered me to take care of the package. This is where the internal debate began. Should I take it, or should I stay true to my word with Miranda? I have no idea what to say, so I just said, Sure thing, boss. Well, I sat back in the chair. Jack looked at me and nodded slowly. Good. We'll be in touch when you have the package, he said, while pouring another glass for himself and offering me one. I declined the extra glass and thanked him for the opportunity, and I left the gas station. It's now evening, and I'm sitting at my desk looking at a small box sent by Miranda. Just staring at it, trying to decide what to do. I'll update you all when I've decided what I should do. I guess it's going to be another long night with no sleep. I messaged Miranda this night, and shit's spiraling out of control. I'll update you all when, or rather if I can. And if I can't, thank you so much for reading. Sincerely yours, Paul. And here are the top comments from my last video. And here's the riddle for this video. Hello everyone, it's your creepy sister here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I would also like to thank my amazing patrons, my top tippers, and my dearest channel members. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it with all of my heart. If you want to support the channel further, you could also choose to become a patron, a tipper, or a channel member. But remember, it's appreciated, but never a requirement. I would also like to announce that we have merch now. The link is in the description of the video, along with all my other social media links, like my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can connect with me and send your stories there. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and comments are highly appreciated. And remember, your fear feeds me.